Hello, everyone. Well, we are back every single day talking about women going through perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. Today, the topic is very interesting. Workplace, like how do you navigate if you're a perimenopausal woman at work, and suddenly you start dripping, right, with all kind of sweats and hot flashes. It happened to me. So that's why we bring Dr. Mead here. She is a naturopathic doctor. She focuses on overall women's health, helping them at workplace. So our topic is perimenopause. So thank you so much, Dr. Mead, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So this is a real problem, right? If you look at the statistics and data in the United States alone, there's so many women, they feel that they are not heard at work, right? People, their managers or even HR or even colleagues, they don't understand if they're going through perimenopause. And perimenopause can last we know, for multiple years. And it can, so if the menopause is 51, let's say, and then the perimenopause starting in your 40, and now you can't quit your job. I mean, you're at the prime of your career. So do you want to comment as to what do you tell women how to, navigate this journey?
So it depends on the woman and their symptoms, right? So some people have milder symptoms, some are focused on a few different areas. So it might be just the hot flashes. Sometimes it's difficulty with, recalling information. Sometimes it can impact the mood. Sometimes it can impact other hormonal imbalances as well. So I think it's important to be aware of where more of your symptoms are playing out and how that interacts with your lifestyle, your work schedule, and to start to kind of plan around taking really good care of yourself before you get to work, having some resources while you're at work, and then developing a close-knit community also at work that understands what you're going through. Everything is harder in isolation. Everything's harder if we feel like we're the only one going through it. We can't share it with anyone. So having a close work friend or letting your manager know that you're going through these changes right now and you need to have these certain boundaries so that you can take as good of care of yourself as possible. So I think that communication is key. But as a naturopathic physician, my focus is always on treating root causes, and perimenopause is a continuum of changes in hormones that is completely normal. What happens is that with our lifestyles, what should be a smoother transition because of how much pressure and stress we experience in our childbearing years, and especially the years leading up to perimenopause, those resources we have in our bodies to help us smooth out the transition. So going from making more of the reproductive hormones and having them at lower concentrations through the body, that should be a gradual flow, turns out being like a cliff where their body has been producing hormones to help you manage stress for so many years, and now you don't have like this reservoir to help you bolster some of the changes with your reproductive hormones that happen at perimenopause. So then you get these really intensive symptoms. So what I do is equip women with, one, that understanding, and then two, different ways that they can use the nutrition, lifestyle, and also botanical medicine to help them balance out those hormonal imbalances so that they have fewer and less intense symptoms.
All right, so that's great. I think the first step is understanding. I think it's very sparse amongst women. I shared with you my experience how I was dripping, in one of the meetings, in one of the interviews actually, when this, oh my God, and I didn't get the job because I myself didn't understand. So that's number one. Now, number two is you talked about the nutrition, lifestyle, and bio botanical. Is that bioidentical hormones? What exactly, when you use the word botanical, what exactly do you mean?
Yeah, so I almost exclusively use herbal medicine. So herbs that help your body to manage stress, to balance hormones, to better regulate your nervous system, are ones that can help you manage through those years quite a bit. You can use bioidentical hormones. It depends on the woman and their symptoms as well. Sometimes you can use them topically or just locally. But a lot of the work in managing those symptoms can be done with nutrition, lifestyle, and really accessible herbs.
So now, okay, so I think it's a very interesting topic that you bring, and we are kind of digressing a little bit on the workplace emotional issue a little bit, if you don't mind me asking you this question. So so now the question becomes: the hormones are going to deplete. That's a natural process. We know that all women are going to. Now the estrogen is gone, progesterone gone out of the window here, right? Unfortunately. So it's like a divorce that has happened. Now there's no coming back, right? So now the problem is here. You talk about herbal medicine, bioidentical hormones, and then there's HRT. So now the herbal medicine, is that going to put your estrogen, progesterone, the depletion that has happened? Explain to us a little bit how it works and how can it help the hormone depletion that has happened in women's body?
Right. So during perimenopause and menopause, your hormones should be at a low level. You don't want them to be at your childbearing years, level. This is a normal process. So it's okay for them to reduce over time. What herbs can do is make sure that your body's resources to make progesterone, to make even just low levels of estrogen are well stocked so that you can keep making those at the right levels for your stage of life and of perimenopause and menopause. So there are herbs that are phytoestrogenic, or will help you also to produce just higher levels of progesterone. There's some that help you to manage your levels of cortisol as well, because the more cortisol we make to manage stress, the less progesterone we're able to make. And when we have less progesterone, we have more of your perimenopausal symptoms. So sometimes the issue is not even just estrogen, progesterone. Sometimes the issue really is cortisol. And sometimes you have to look at, do you have enough cholesterol to make cortisol, to make progesterone? So it kind of goes up the chain a little bit more. So understanding where the deficiencies are with each woman and then treating at that level using herbal medicine or specific nutrients.
Got it. So now, what would be? This is very interesting. So this could be in lieu of HRT, right? That's what I'm understanding. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay. So that's great. Now, what is the process like? In the sense, like, are you going to let's say I come to you. You're going to test me. Just walk me through the whole process of how you're going to prescribe herbal medicine to someone.
Sure. So first is just getting to know you, right? Because every woman has different symptoms. Everyone responds differently. Some people are kind of nonchalant. They have a flexible lifestyle. It's not that big a deal. Other people are in very high-powered, jobs, high-pressure jobs. So they need to manage in a certain way. And maybe they have more anxiety about these changes. And maybe they're not ready to go through this change in life, right? So it's not just the symptoms, it's the person with the symptoms. So getting to know each woman and how they are responding to these changes, and then figuring out exactly what their symptoms are. Are they showing more symptoms of high stress and a low resilience to stress, or are they showing more symptoms with just low progesterone? And then figuring out which herbs best match their symptom relief picture, but not just symptom relief, right? Because you don't want to put out fires and put band-aids on everything, right? So you have to look kind of holistically as well. Are they low on sleep? Are they low on nutrients in general? So now we can use more herbs that are nutritive to the nervous system as well if they're under high stress. So we kind of get a picture of their constellation of symptoms and then match them with nutrients and also herbs that'll help to address those needs specifically so they can have more sustainable relief, and also just build up their body's resources to make hormones at the right level. So it really is a matter of interviewing and getting to know the woman. We will look at testing as well, but the hormones are changing, right? So they're always depleting. They're up in the morning, they're down in the afternoon. So I really don't rely that heavily on blood testing of hormones once people are closer into the perimenopausal times. What you describe to me as your symptoms gives me a really good idea of what the imbalances are. So then we treat on that level.
Got it. It makes sense. Yeah, the testing could be, high, low, you don't know, like you just said, it's a roller coaster ride, right? Okay, so now the thing is, what are the common herbs? This is not a medical advice, first disclaimer, but just general high level. That's number one question. Number two is, can this work in lieu of HRT as well as efficacy?
Mhm. So that I'll share classes of herbs that are helpful. So phytoestrogenic herbs, which can mimic the function of estrogen in the bodies, can be helpful. Ones that are adaptogenic. So these are herbs that work on multiple systems. So on the nervous system level, immune system level, endocrine level, to help your body just really balance. So if it's a deficiency, it'll help you upregulate. If you're in excess of functioning, it'll help you downregulate. Nervines are also really helpful when you need to nourish the nervous system and make sure that it is better able to switch from a parasympathetic mode to a sympathetic mode, so that you're not having this, stuck in a stress response mode that is driving the increase of stress response hormones and depleting you of those hormone levels that you need to manage your symptoms. So those are some of the classes that I would start with of herbs. And
Okay.
can they be effective when prescribed specifically for each woman, right? So you have to know which herbs would be the best match for the woman and her symptoms, but then also the dosages also have to be correct. So sometimes you have to play around with the dosages over time. And I believe, and I've seen in 15 years of practice now, that they can be as effective as HRT.
Wow. I mean, this is gold mine, what you're doing. Honestly, women don't understand. We don't know that. And in UK, for instance, I was talking to an expert. There's a mad rush for most of the women to get HRT.
Yeah.
Now, we know that there were controversial studies 20 years back on breast cancer, and the jury's out there if there are side effects or not. Do you want to comment a little bit? I mean, are you on HRT, or we should rather not even talk about the subject? What do you feel?
That's okay. I mean, some people just feel more comfortable with a bioidentical because they feel like it's going to work quickly. That's what's in the conventional model as far as the toolkit for treating perimenopause and menopausal symptoms. And the efficacy can be good. And some women, what I've seen, are on HRT for years and years, and they're still managing symptoms. So it doesn't like erase the process for them. And in my mind, it's a bit of a cultural issue, right? Like perimenopause and menopause are natural processes. So in my mind, to replace what is naturally depleting in the body is sort of counterintuitive. If what we want to do is help the body come to an equilibrium during a change, then I would rather do that in a more gentle way that honors the process. And we also have just like a go lifestyle. Like I don't have time to be changing as a woman, which is understandable. And a lot of women, I think you said before, in their prime at this time in their career, you're in your 40s, potentially if you've had children, they're older, you have a little bit more flexibility, some more bandwidth, and then hits this change. But I think it is important to just embrace it as a normal part of life, and then find ways to fit your self-care into a mold that really helps you to cope and thrive, and develop a compassion for yourself and for others that are going through it, because it's not forever. And as long as you are making sure your body is replete with resources to help you go through the change, then the symptoms shouldn't be as severe. And then on the other side of menopause, then you have a lot more resources as well. So I guess to answer your question, HRT can be helpful if that's what people feel comfortable with and they are looking for a very conventional route. But if you want alternatives and don't want to add more hormones to your body at levels that might not be appropriate for your body at that time, then there are lots of alternatives. But it requires more than just taking a pill or rubbing a cream, right? Like it's going to require a connection with yourself and with your body, and an honoring of the process that you're going through.
Got it. And then, of course, consultations with a qualified naturopathic doctor such as yourself, to make sure that, understanding your body, what's going on, and then explaining it to professionals such as yourself, so you can give the correct dosage, right? Now,
Yes.
is this for a lifetime? Like, let's say every day you have to take it, or is it like, how does that whole dosage part work?
I think it would work, depending on the woman, for their symptoms just for a period of time. Usually I'll prescribe for a matter of six weeks to 3 months, and then see how things are going, and then reevaluate from there. Things are going well, wonderful. Maybe we'll reduce doses and see how the body responds. But you always have to stay in conversation with your body. As a practitioner, same, I have to evaluate, reevaluate, and see how the body's resources are growing. The body's growing in resilience and in response to the treatment, and then shift from there as needed. But you have to continue that cadence of reviewing how things are going. I mean, a lot of times in the conventional model, you're given a medication and that's just it. You take it for a year, you come back for refills only, and there isn't a lot of reevaluation of whether you need it and how you're responding to it. But with my care, there's a lot of conversation around, do you still need this? Can we take this away as a prop for your body? Is your body already doing what it needs to do on its own? Do you need less of this? Do you need something else? So stay in communication and keeping those lines of communication open.
Got it. So in a world of a pill popping world that we all live in, what do you think do women want to embrace the herbal medicine, in your opinion, or they would rather continue to pop a pill and say, okay, I'm done. My hormones are fit. It's just an opinion. I'm just curious because you see so many women, and I'm not a doctor or anything.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, some people, that is the only form of medicine they want to take, and that's it. So there isn't much of a question of whether they're alternatives. And then some women, when they learn their alternatives, they would prefer not to put, different hormones, bioidentical or not, into their bodies. And then some women have had, and I've had patients like this, bioidenticals for years and didn't respond well to them, didn't find them as effective as they had hoped. And then they look for alternatives. So it really depends on the person.
Got it. It's the same thing, right? For a chronic condition also, if you think about it, like, we have all kind of drugs that are coming for weight loss, right? Just now, and so many things. So is it like, do you want to pop a pill to lose your weight, or do you are rather work a little hard to change your lifestyle? The same concept is, right? But you're explaining me, pop a pill and get your hormones artificially manufactured in your body, or gently embrace the herbal medicine and work on your body, right? That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Say, although they can work very quickly and effectively. So I think sometimes people think like, oh, it's going to take forever for some of these alternative recommendations or remedies to take effect, but they can work really quickly and fairly comprehensively. So it's a matter of just keeping your mind open to the process.
I think the issue is that we when I use the word we as women all over the world are not really educated about this whole subtleties of all the things that we just talked about today. And that's the problem, the education, the awareness. And that's what you and I are trying to bring this to as many women as possible. And that's why we run this program on a every single day basis, pretty much, to educate women to take the right choices for them, right? Make the right choice for them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Please feel free to share your website, anything you want before I wrap up.
Sure. Yeah, my website is www.dradeolamead.com. And I do have a 40-day program that really is a deep dive on looking at balancing hormones, helping people deal really with stress-related chronic diseases, which many of our chronic diseases are related to stress, helping them to learn ways to implement self-care. So I have a course that you go through, and we'll do testing to figure out what you actually need. And there's accountability with weekly meetings. We'll look at gut health as well, because a lot of our hormones are processed in the gut. So making sure our gut health is in optimal condition. And yeah, it's been a beautiful experience just working with people and women specifically in that container, because I do find usually within a few weeks, they have way better symptom control, and then their bandwidth opens up, so they are becoming creative in their lives in ways that they weren't able to before. So it's a beautiful process that I'm able to journey with women. So that program is called the 40-day fresh start, and I love to work with women in transition that want to take control of their health.
So this is for all women, and not specifically age specific, right?
No, it's for all women. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, the hormones are playing game with us ever since we start the puberty and go all the way till postmenopause. So,
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're cyclical beings, and we just need to embrace that as part of our power, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Mead, for being with us. Amazing, amazing information that you brought today. We were supposed to talk about challenges women face at workplace, but I really thought that the expertise Dr. Mead has is more powerful and more needed in today's day and age to educate women about alternatives to HRT. Really, that's what the topic ended up being today. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us every single day. And we are launching programs, so stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.